The Sermon on the Mount. Jesus' guide to living with clarity, joy, and strength. It was spring in the year 31 AD, on a quiet hillside near the Sea of Galilee. A man with a focused expression sat down, surrounded by ordinary people: farmers, fishermen, mothers, children, and curious passers-by. His name was Jesus, a carpenter's son from Nazareth. That day, he gave one of the most powerful speeches in human history, the Sermon on the Mount. But this wasn't just any talk. It was a deep call to the human soul. For modern people, it's like a user manual for living a truly happy life. Think happiness is all about money, success, and fame? Jesus challenged that idea and completely redefined what it means to be blessed. So, who are the truly blessed? Jesus opened with something totally unexpected. Blessed are those who know they need God, for the kingdom of heaven is theirs. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for justice, for they will be satisfied. Blessed are those who are persecuted for doing what's right. God's kingdom belongs to them. If people insult you or mistreat you because of me, consider yourself blessed. Be joyful. This wasn't feel-good fluff or emotional manipulation. When Jesus said blessed, he didn't mean the temporary happiness you get from fun or comfort. He meant real, soul-level fulfillment, felt by those who realize their deep need for God, feel sorrow over sin, and earnestly seek to honor Him. Today, many chase happiness through money, status, or a carefully curated image. But Jesus flips the script. Woe to you who are rich, you've already received your reward. Woe to you who are full now, you'll end up hungry. Woe to you who laugh now, you'll mourn and weep. If everyone speaks well of you, be careful. That's how people praised false prophets. Wait, why does Jesus warn the rich, the joyful, and the praised? Because when people put too much value on those things, they lose focus on what truly matters: God. It's not that being rich or happy is bad in itself, but Jesus is reminding us. True happiness isn't a quick, emotional high. It's soul-deep peace and lasting satisfaction. Sounds like anti-self-help? Not really. This is actually deep psychological truth. When you think you've got everything, it's easy to stop being humble, to stop needing God, and to stop caring about others. Jesus wasn't cursing successful people. He was warning us not to be fooled by the illusion of having it all. Then Jesus said something even more radical. He didn't come to erase the old commandments, but to fulfill them. The religious leaders thought he was breaking God's law and were already plotting to kill him. But Jesus said clearly, "Don't think I came to get rid of God's laws or the words of the prophet. I came to complete them." He respected God's laws and expected others to do the same. Anyone who breaks even the smallest command and teaches others to do the same will be called least in God's kingdom. Jesus raised the bar. He didn't just focus on what you do, but why you do it. You've heard it said, "Don't murder." But I tell you, if you're angry with someone, you've already committed a sin. That was revolutionary. In a time when people judged by actions alone, Jesus looked at the heart. He was saying, if you hate someone in your heart, you've already pulled the trigger. So, don't wait. Take the first step to make peace. On adultery, Jesus didn't just say, "Don't cheat." He said, if you're constantly staring at someone with lust, you've already committed adultery in your heart. He wasn't talking about fleeting thoughts. He meant, if you keep feeding that desire, it can lead to real-life sin. Jesus used vivid imagery. If your right eye causes you to stumble, gouge it out. If your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off. He didn't mean that literally. He was saying that sometimes we need to make tough choices and cut off things that are dear to us to protect our integrity. Jesus also talked about how to treat people who hurt us. Don't fight evil with evil. If someone slaps you on the right cheek, turn the other one. He wasn't saying don't defend yourself or your family. He meant, if someone insults you or tries to provoke you, don't strike back. It takes real strength to stay calm and steady instead of reacting in anger. That's true inner power. What about prayer? Does it work? Jesus said yes, just ask. But he also warned, don't do good deeds to get attention. When you help the poor, don't blow a trumpet like the hypocrites do. Instead, do it privately. Same with prayer. When you pray, don't stand on street corners trying to be seen. Go into your room, shut the door, and pray to your Father who is unseen. Jesus wasn't against public prayer. He did it himself. He was calling out fake spirituality that's more about showing off than seeking God. People in the crowd also worried about money and basic need. Jesus said, "Look at the birds, look at the flowers. They don't plant or harvest, but God takes care of them. You're far more valuable than birds or flowers. Your Father knows what you need. So seek His kingdom first, and everything else will follow." How do you find true life? Jesus said, "Live sincerely and do what's right, not for show, but to please God." That's not easy, especially when you're surrounded by judgmental people like the Pharisees were. Don't judge others or you'll be judged. The standard you use on others will be used on you. Jesus illustrated it perfectly. Can a blind person lead another blind person? Won't they both fall in a ditch? How can you point out a speck in someone's eye when you have a plank in your own? First deal with your own faults, then help others. Of course, Jesus wasn't saying you should never use discernment. He added, "Don't throw your pearls to pigs." In other words, if someone clearly doesn't value truth, it's okay to move on. Finally, Jesus talked again about prayer and persistence. Keep asking, you'll receive. God wants to answer. Even flawed humans know how to give good gifts. How much more your Father in heaven? He wrapped up with a powerful rule of life. Do to others what you want them to do to you. This is the famous golden rule, but it's not about manipulating people. It's about genuine kindness without strings attached. And to close it all off, Jesus told a parable about two builders. One built his house on rock. When storms came, it stood strong. The other built on sand. It looked fine, until the storm came and it collapsed. His point? If you hear his words and don't act on them, you're like the fool who built on sand. The Sermon on the Mount isn't just religious talk. It's a blueprint for the soul. Jesus never promised an easy life, but he did offer a peace that holds firm in life's worst storms. If you're wondering, how can I find deep happiness? How can I stay true to myself? How do I let go of anxiety and live with dignity? Read the Sermon on the Mount in the Bible. It's worth reading for a lifetime and living out even more. 1. How to find real happiness. Matthew 5 verses 3 to 12. Luke 6 verses 20 to 23. Jesus talks about the kind of people who are truly blessed, like the humble, the kind, and those who stand up for what's right. That's where real joy comes from. 2. How to keep your self-respect. Matthew 5 verses 14 to 16, 37. 6:2-4, 16 to 18. Luke 6 verses 43 to 45. Be real. Let your good actions shine, speak honestly, and don't just do good things to show off. What's inside your heart matters most. 3. How to improve your relationships with others. Matthew 5 verses 22 to 26, 38 to 48. 7:15-12. Luke 6 verses 27 to 38, 41, 42. Don't hold grudges. Be kind, even to people who treat you badly. Treat others the way you want to be treated, and don't be quick to judge. 4. How to improve your marriage. Matthew 5 verses 27 to 32. Jesus teaches about loyalty and staying committed. A strong marriage starts with staying true to each other, not just in actions, but in your heart too. 5. How to deal with worry. Matthew 6 verses 25 to 34. Don't stress about the future. God knows what you need, so focus on today and trust Him to take care of the rest. 6. How to spot fake religion. Matthew 6 verses 5 to 8, 16 to 18, 7:15 to 23. Watch out for people who look religious but don't live it out. True faith isn't about appearances. It's about your heart and how you live. 7. How to find the meaning of life. Matthew 6 verses 9 to 13, 19 to 24, 33. 7:7-11, 13, 14, 24 to 27. Luke 6 verses 46 to 49. Jesus teaches us to seek God first, trust Him, and build our lives on His Word. That's the foundation for a meaningful life that lasts.